TheFreeRotation podcast.
Oh, wake up, AG. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Free Rotation podcast.
Why do you sound like Apu from The Simpsons?
Who?
Apu?
Oh, I thought you said Apu, like A-P-O-O. Like
No,
I just
Apu,
pooped.
A-P-U.
Oh, I don't know. That's what we're talking about today. Not really.
Come
And I am joined by Bobby across from me,
Hi, I'm not hungover today.
and our fearless leader slash... I was thinking of I was going to say it just to annoy you, but I didn't do it.
I don't know what that means, so...
I was saying titty in a really annoying voice yesterday to Angie, and she almost murdered me, but I didn't do it.
She said it. Oh, remember the Ligma balls at the Dragon Con show?
yeah.
It was over and over. It was incessant.
I feel like you guys just don't appreciate my
Also,
humor.
nobody asked if we were on USB audio. I feel insulted.
Oh, are we on USB audio?
Yes.
Okay.
That's
I
the
think
point.
it's because we trust you at this
Well,
point.
don't. What's wrong with you?
Angie makes a goddamn fair fucking point.
We've had to done over 115 episodes, and we still need to always check. But I guess, it's professional podcast.
Yes.
That's what they call it,
That's
yeah,
what it is. Yeah.
All right, so today, guys, little bit of background for this last week. We were trying to figure out what we were going to do for our spooky summer episodes. Here's the thing, though, and that's why we did Corpsewood Manor and all that stuff. So we want to continue with the spooky summer because, A, we're in the middle of a pandemic, and there's not a lot of other things to do other than go outside and try and avoid people. And, B, it's just fun to be able to do spooky stuff. That's my opinion.
Did you know my name starts with the letter B?
So does mine.
Congratulations, this episode is sponsored by the letter B. Bitch! I've always wanted, was it the count? Not the count. Who did that on Sesame Street? One of them did it. It was somebody. I've always wanted them to just look at the camera and start fucking mouthing weird shit with the letter.
Grover.
Yeah, somebody
Yeah.
fucking whispering ancient incantations with it.
Ancient Latin, and then
Yeah.
it turns out it's like a Necronomicon summoning or something like that.
Yeah.
So, but being as I had no idea what we should do, I thought of this idea. I have picked 5 places in and around Metro Atlanta. Places that, A, we can actually go to because there's a lot of places closed right now. Because the one place I did want to go to is Andersonville Prison because it's purportedly one of the most haunted places in our area. Mm-hmm. But, hey, it's closed down because of COVID, so you can't go.
If there's one I don't think you will have on your list, and it's super close by, but we'll see.
Yeah. So, and B, that, this is all places that you can go visit that legally we won't get in trouble for going to.
Sweet.
So I have picked these 5, and I would like to tell you guys about them a little bit.
Okay.
And then you guys tell me which one you would be interested in visiting.
Well, okay. Before you get started, can I say something?
Yes.
So today, there was a lady who posted
Anonymously?
Anonymous.
Thank you.
Unanimous?
Yeah.
Crusaders?
Yes. And the Crusaders posted anonymously.
Truly Wisconsin up in here.
Yeah, Wisconsin. Anyways, she said that she came home and her house was full of flies and it was super cold and she's had things watching her and stuff happen. So she said, "Is there anybody local who could help me?" So I said, "I've got materials, experience, and manpower. Let us know when to come by."
So now we are a true ghost hunting group.
So we're gonna get in touch with Crystal, because we gotta add Bobby to that Facebook group. We made a paranormal society called SAPS, South Atlanta Paranormal Society, but we're SAPS.
That's I fucking now question.
Yeah.
Did you make sure no one else is named that?
No.
You probably should do that because a lot of the time that shit's trademarked. But I like the idea because saps makes it seem
funny.
dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And instead of it being like taps and or anything like that, the light is haunted. I'm telling you, this light is haunted, Angie.
No, the bulb's burning out. God.
Maybe that's what it is. Yeah, exactly. Just
And
blows.
Satan pops up out of it. Did y'all need assist? Okay.
That was too good of timing, Angie. You need to chill the fuck out.
Sorry, guys.
Somebody
we have a
shit
in
in
a
this-
random side note. We have super nice hue lighting to set the mood, and one of the lights keeps going in and out. And anytime Angie starts sounding like the devil, she it goes out. It's
and
weird.
it came back on a different color.
It came back on as soon as you fucking said that.
Yeah.
You're fucking bringing shit into this world, Angie. I don't need that.
No. Oh God.
So now Saps, because also it's funny because if you think about it, we're all like really big scaredy cats. So we go out there and we're like, ah, and run
that's why
away.
we're Saps. She wanted to name it like women's, and I'm like, we can't be a women's because we got Bobby. And
I mean,
even though you're an honorary woman,
Yeah, I'm kind of a lady. Have you seen?
Yeah.
Have you seen? Okay, listeners. You all haven't really seen me, but I'm going to describe what I'm wearing right now. My hair is done. I'm wearing a vintage 50s button down with black chinos and black dress boots with long ass socks on. Mind you, it's 95 fucking degrees outside, and I'm suffering so bad for fashion right now.
And honestly, he still wore that kind of outfit when we went out into the middle of the fucking woods at Corpse Movement. Meanwhile, me and Angie are like wearing like the dinkiest looking clothes to
I
just
pulled
keep
his
warm.
shirt up off of the floor because it smelled decent.
Hey,
I didn't think it was
I was
too
wearing
dirty. I'm not
cheap
kidding.
pants. These are expensive pants. These are like $100 pants.
You still went out like you were going to Instagram model in the middle of a
I wore
murder
Docs, a
mansion.
denim
He
jacket, and a
did
V-neck.
Instagram model because
Yeah.
we put it on Instagram and people were like, "That's an amazing picture."
Yeah.
That's true.
Do you know So, also side note, viewers, we're derailing this whole bit.
That's fine. We're talking about ghost stuff.
This isn't ghost stuff, but it's fine. I can't keep up with Tinder and Bumble right now. I actually had to disable my Bumble because I'm getting too many goddamn matches, and it's like I can't talk to all of you. I know how women feel now.
That's incredible.
I mean, it's a good
I'm
problem to
happy for you.
have,
Yeah.
but I still have yet to get my stick dipped. If you catch
Well,
my,
you know what?
Yeah.
You have at least
Well,
now.
you don't want to get the COVIDs and
Well-
have to get another dip.
Yeah.
I've already had COVID. We had a discussion.
Oh.
Remember, I got tested for the antibodies last month, so I'm good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, though, is at least now you have like people you can pick from. You can decide who you want to stick your dip.
I'm
dip-
kind of thinking going with the
Dip-
buffet
dip
option
your
and
stick.
just like trying all of them.
Do it at once too. That's fine.
Ooh, I would kill for a
That's
threesome.
Okay, guys, let's talk about scary places.
Okay, scary places. It's scary if he chooses to do his buffet at the wrong place.
All right.
Gas station bathroom.
Yeah.
Ew.
Ooh.
Okay, let's get the COVIDs and the gonorrhea. That makes sense.
There's a pill for gonorrhea.
Yeah,
That's true.
It's curable.
All right, so 5 different places within about a 2-hour span of where we live, okay?
Oh, 5, like the pentagram. Okay. I see
Yeah,
what you
that's
did
how we
there.
roll.
Yeah.
We call some and some. Anyways, so the first place is Tilly Bend Cemetery in Blue Ridge, Georgia.
Ooh.
We should go there to the cabin or something.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
and go there
Hey,
too.
Jinx, you owe me a soda.
Because I've never been to the cabin. I've been to Blue Ridge, but
Oh, yeah.
yeah, because I remember that the one summer you invited me, it's like I think it was just after Dragon Con,
Yeah.
where I joined the podcast, but I was hella poor.
Yeah. Sometimes it's really hard to like go, but I think it'd be this was on the list just because we love going to Blue Ridge and we could always rent a cabin and stay up there to do
Yeah.
this. All right. So Tilly Bend and Tilly Bend Cemetery. It's Tilly Bend Church, Tilly Bend Cemetery, and Tilly Bend. There's a couple of places, but so this is actually what's considered a classic story about 2 feuding families and is said to be the source of this haunting tale from an old church in the mountains.
Ooh.
According to legend, Elizabeth Bradley was a witch with 2 daughters. One married a Tilly, the other a Stanley. 2 families that actually did not get along at all. So one day, a group of the Stanley family,
That rhymes. Or the Stan clan.
the Stan clan, the Stan clan showed up and came to Tilly Bend Church, which is one of the same properties. It's on the same property as the cemetery,
Sure.
so it's all linked together. And started shooting while the Tillys were inside worshiping, killing one of the Bradley's daughters. The next, a group of Tillys went to where the other family lived and shot a bunch of them, killing Bradley's son-in-law. Her other daughter also died during childbirth soon thereafter. So Elizabeth Bradley was pissed the fuck off. So legend says Elizabeth Bradley was so angry over the deaths of her daughter that she placed a curse on the church so that no babies would be born to its members. The clan buried their dead and life went on as usual, but with one exception. During the following year, every single child born in either the settlement was either stillborn or died within the first year of their birth.
Shit.
Wow, that's fucking intense.
So, according to the Cherokee County Paranormal Society, it's where that's why there's so many infant gravestones in the cemetery. So, like half of the cemetery itself is actually just infant gravestones. In 1906, continuing on about Elizabeth Bradley, if you're asking what that has to do with her, she was hanged for being a witch and was buried under an oak tree. And her grave faces west since it was believed that she was a witch, and people have reported seeing a woman in a long dress walking around the cemetery and church, hearing moaning and feeling cold spots. And there have been several numerous paranormal investigations within the site itself, with a bunch of pictures online you can check out.
Sweet.
So that was the first place because it's got all the makings of a good Southern haunting.
So what you're saying is, if my vasectomy somehow fails, I need to shove the girl inside that fucking church, and then I'll be golden.
Yes.
Apparently so. Well, it was only within the first year that this happened. So apparently her powers did not exceed past.
So she wasn't that strong of a witch.
Yeah. But think about it. I mean, what do they call it? Haints in the Appalachian Mountains or the South.
Yeah.
This was considered an old Haints tale, like a good old ghost story. So I thought it was interesting because it was up at like Blue Ridge. It's in the mountains. It's very much that old Southern ghost story that you would want to see. So I thought that might be interesting if y'all would be interested in that one.
Bet. Sure.
Okay. Next one.
Yeah, and it's Blue Ridge, yeah.
And it's Blue Ridge. That was the big thing. It's like we could go stay at the cabin.
Take Bobby around and show him everything.
Yeah. It's very upscaled right now.
Go tubing.
Did you know that Blue Ridge is actually the most gay-friendly city in Georgia?
Really? It's not Atlanta?
No, it's Blue Ridge.
I'd do great there because I look gay as shit.
They even have a pride parade.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not this year, though, because COVID.
Well, no. And here's the thing about Blue Ridge. Like, we started going a few years ago, and it wasn't run down, but it was very much that old, like mountain town, but they've really redone it up.
Yeah, like I would say, what was it, like 2, maybe 3 years ago we went and everything was under construction.
Yeah.
And then the next year it was like, oh my God.
And they have a really cool comic book shop up there.
Sonoy?
I'm down. Like, let's just plan a weekend.
Yeah. So this is
Mountain Man Comics.
Yeah, but this is one of the places. There's also a couple of other places. So, first place I wanted to lead off strong, but let's see what else we've got. So the next place is actually located in Smyrna, Georgia, and it's the Concord Covered Bridge and the Concord Cemetery.
I know Bobby likes bridges.
I love bridges.
I figured you have to throw a bridge in here, Bobby, just for you.
I'm down for like all these locations. I already know what they are, but I guess whatever. It can't be worse than the fucking Roscoe Road.
Yeah.
Look at your face, Angie.
That place is spoopy, all right?
It is.
And there's no
Covered
goddamn
bridge,
lights.
though, is really scary if it's
the one you're thinking of?
Yeah.
Okay. So you can visit Concord Covered Bridge and then follow it along to Concord Cemetery, which is about 3 miles away on the Silver Comet Trail. Now, this is one of the few working covered bridges still, one being actually south of us in Barnesville, but it's within 2 hours of Atlanta. But according to legend, a couple of little girls drowned or were drowned in the waters below the bridge. And according to the lore, if you park your car at night, turn it off and leave some chocolate on it, you'll hear the little girls climbing on the car and laughing.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
Hell no. Fuck that. Fuck you. No. I fucking don't like little kids. How do you think I feel about little kid ghosts?
Well, and yeah, because you can't get rid of them. They just hang out. They're like, hey, I'm back.
Angie knows about that.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's not insult the little ghost girl.
No,
Now-
she's fine. She's well
Yeah,
behaved.
yeah.
It's those ones that...
And she just turns the TV on out there and watches it at all hours of the night.
yeah, it's fine.
So when you turn the car back on, the candy will be gone, and there will be handprints on your car. However, there is some stipulations to all of this.
Of course.
It is a highly traveled road, so it's not actually a good idea to turn your car off. It's actually a workable bridge or a workable covered road.
Sure.
So, you can't really just drive across it and not expect somebody to run you over.
You can turn your hazards on, right? While
I guess you could.
Or I guess have somebody at each end of the bridge, like, saying, hey, there's a fucking car coming. Get out of
Yeah.
the way.
Or if you go out at midnight, hopefully there's not a bunch of people out. Just the cops, I guess. It also is like the middle of the fucking summer in July in Atlanta or in Georgia. So if you leave a piece of candy out even at midnight, that shit's gonna melt pretty fast.
Well, we would put it on something on the car.
Or we can just get like a piece of frozen chocolate.
Well, that's a good idea.
I have an Easter bunny. It's been in my freezer for like 4 years.
And y'all see me out there.
That sounds like saying, Angie, you have diabetes. What are you doing?
Although,
There's like frothing at the fucking mouth on top of the car.
we turn off the lights and we hear little girls laughing and climbing on the car, but it's just Angie because she sounds like a 12-year-old normally.
Hey.
I mean, it's really funny. On a side note for Angie, she either gets, are you a boy or are you a girl when we play Valorant? Because they're not sure if she's like a little boy
A young boy.
or 12
Or a young boy.
or a young boy.
Either way, I'm turned on.
I just say, I'm a boy.
So here's the other thing, though.
I'm a boy.
I'm a boy. Here's the other thing. They talk about the cemetery as well. And I got to shout out to the AJC. I was just Googling around looking at stuff, and they had these, like, places you can visit with your children. I was for spooky summertime. I was like, what the fuck, AJC? What are you doing?
The Lord's work.
So there's also, I guess that's exactly right.
The Lord works.
So you can actually go to the cemetery where some say you'll also feel the temperature drop by several degrees if you put your arm out the window. And
Sure.
as for the cemetery itself, legend says there's also a witch buried there, Whether that's true or not, there have been sightings of dark figures, movement in peripheral vision, and voices whispering if you listen hard enough.
Becky, I'm sensing a theme.
Okay.
That's still at their bridge in Smyrna?
No, that's
at the
Oh.
cemetery.
that you can go to.
Oh,
yeah.
the bridge and cemetery. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. I didn't mean to accidentally get two witches involved in this.
No, it's fine. I'm down. But no, it's just funny that we're back to back. I'm like, I know you're Wiccans. You're like the other witches, which is fine.
Yeah,
Well,
we'll
and
give them a shout out.
I think there's something just so interesting about Southern like witchcraft and the fact that like in the 1800s and
Yeah.
up, like these old like healers and soothsayer women who are considered witches, and it's just interesting.
Okay, so I had an idea for an interesting sitcom.
Okay.
Hear me out. It's a very devout Christian woman marries a warlock. And I want like their kids, like one of them, like to be like take after the father, and she goes, "Billy, you just like your father." Because I love that fucking line.
So it's like Married with Children and Wizards of Waverly Place.
yeah, it's gas.
That's actually kind of a funny idea.
But like instead of like Al like putting his hand in his pants, it's the guy has like his wand, and she's like he keeps like sticking that in his pants instead. Like people put like a gun in their waistband.
yes.
Like
He just keeps his wand in there.
yeah, he just like keeps his wand in his waistband. Like fuck it, it's gas.
Well, I hope that you make millions on this, Bobby.
I'm gonna need a new job soon. I'm going to lose mine.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. So let's move on. That's very sad. Okay. All right. This one is very famous, and I do have a lot of just notes on it in general. But
It's cool.
But here's the thing: is the reason why is because it's very famous, and I don't know if a lot of people outside of Atlanta know about it. So I kind of wanted to give it a little bit more background on this one.
Don't have to explain yourself. Go for it.
It's in the ATL, so we have to be careful of getting murdered. But it's Oakland Cemetery.
Oh yeah, I went on a date there once. Well, quasi. You remember Cameron, right?
Yes.
We got coffee at Octane, which is like across the street, and then we went on a walk there for like 2 hours and smoked many cigarettes.
Me and Angie went by at one time to go to a cat cafe.
Was it Gato?
Yes.
Gato's awesome.
It was a very cute cat cafe. But here's the thing about Oakland Cemetery. So it's actually purported to be one of the most haunted places in Georgia, and it's also based on its history. So let me give you a little bit of background, peeps. So since 1815, Oakland Cemetery has served as an architectural manifestation of Atlanta's complex and contentious past, containing within its grounds not just the bodies of Atlanta's dead, but also their lives and legacies. It was originally named Atlanta's Graveyard, and Oakland was the first purchase to accommodate Atlanta's growing population of 2,500 people. Now, put that in perspective. It was purchased because there's 2,500 people in Atlanta.
Yeah, there's millions.
Now you got a shit ton of people in Atlanta.
True.
It was initially only 6 acres and occupied a small portion of the land southeast of Atlanta. And now, if you go to Oakland now, it's huge, and it still is in the middle of Atlanta.
Yes.
So it's very much like it's like going back in the past suddenly in the middle of a very urban area.
Sure.
The cemetery's Victorian architectural style is inspired by the idea that death need not to be ugly. In an attempt to reinvent the traditional graveyard, Oakland was organized around a rural garden layout, a style that was chosen over a more traditional cemetery plans, which were often crowded and visually unappealing. And Oakland Cemetery shows evidence of the many periods of society and events in the history of Atlanta. And it's also important to know the reason here. It's also important to know the difference between a cemetery and a graveyard.
Mm-hmm.
Cemetery is a unattached place where people who have passed away can be visited by their relatives. They can picnic. It's like a park, but it's like where you can lay your loved ones to rest and be able to still visit with them.
Yeah, sure.
And then Angie, you want to explain the graveyard thing?
Well, a graveyard is attached to a church, and it's to remind you of your mortality and where you'll end up.
So if you look at
It's very depressing.
Yeah.
So if you look at historically graveyards themselves, graveyards actually used to sit at the front of a church.
Yeah,
You
to
need to walk
remind
through 'em.
people. Yeah,
That's fucking disgusting.
yeah.
Fuck
Because
the
it
church.
makes you think about where will your spirit go.
It's really
it's awful.
sad.
It's
It's-
brainwashing right from the start.
So it's funny. Speaking of the difference between graveyards and cemeteries, the church that used to be on 54, where the Best Buy stands, went from a graveyard because it was a church there. Now it's a cemetery.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
And
I forgot all
thus,
about that graveyard.
the
there.
church knows about Transformers
Yes.
because they transformed.
Oh.
Not as funny as I thought it'd be, but I was like, I
You
gotta
gotta go for it.
Yeah, I gotta go
Well,
for
I
it.
pictured like Optimus Prime, like digging graves.
And plus, it's Best Buy, so it's all electronic, so it kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
No, it was a good one.
Like those really tall like gravestones. That's his dick because he died hard.
Never mind. I was gonna say, Bobby, you were so creative with that, and then it's his dick.
Well, to be fair, when my jokes usually revolve around dead kids, penis, sex, or gay sex.
So really, the witches are where you want to go, especially with the infant graveyard.
Yeah, I go to all these places. Fuck it. The only thing is I don't know how late. Like, what's like the hours for Oakland? Because I can't imagine it's 24/7.
Well, Oakland has a certain amount of time you can be open.
Oh, here's the thing, and I mean it's gonna sound bad, but I have a furlough week coming up in August. I have to take. If Bobby is still furloughed, or you get to take a week off, so we can just have a week of traveling to these spooky
Places.
the Confederacy.
The Confederate section. I can speak today. I can say spooky place, but I can't say Confederate. That's weird. The Confederate section of the cemetery is occupied by 6,900 graves, all but 16 of which are Confederate casualties during the Civil War.
It's 69. Sorry.
There are only 16 Union soldiers buried in the section, most likely because there was no space for them for anywhere else at the time. And marking the section is a large granite obelisk called the Confederate obelisk, which was carved from stone in Stone Mountain. So it's like all over the place.
So it's like twice as racist.
Yeah, kind of. Well, the thing with the Confederate soldiers, like, I try to give them a little bit of a break because it was their time period. Like, that to me is different than, like, keeping up monuments for the next, like, 200 years. Like, they're dead. Like, they don't care anymore.
My thing about monuments, it's fine. But don't have it near a government building. And if you...
Just stick them in a museum.
Yeah, that too. Like, the ones that aren't, like, in a government building, sure, do what you want. But if it's, like, near courthouse, mayor's office, governor's mansion, what the fuck?
Just, like I said, you can't forget history, but you can put it somewhere where people can remember it.
Yeah, and the thing is, a lot of times it's not about the history. It was about intimidating black folk, so they wouldn't vote back in the day.
Because do you know what the Confederate monument outside of the courthouse here says?
What?
It says, in memory of a nation which rose up snow white, and to honor the white that was lost or something like that. Like, it's awful.
Yeah.
It is literally
you gotta
horrible.
move that on.
And it was put up in, like, the 50s.
My eyes are
40s.
literally rolling into the back of my head right now.
Well, on top of this with Oakland Cemetery, there's also graves in this section with nearly 3,000 graves of unknown soldiers.
Jesus.
Oh, wow.
So Oakland Cemetery's Potter's Field is also the section where people who could not afford the plots of land were buried in the early days of the cemetery before the turn of the 20th century.
Wow.
Because the cemetery grew so quickly, the plots of land were filled at such a fast rate, most people opted to be buried at Potter's Field because it was cheaper. No markers exist, but archaeologists estimate that there are 7,500 people buried in this field.
Jesus.
On top of that, and now here's the thing about segregation, a separate section of the cemetery was used for African Americans. And this section is a testament to the strife and separation that the city has worked to overcome since then. Yeah. Because, I mean, right now we're in a really bad spot with all of the protests. But, I mean, the Atlanta is called the city that doesn't have time to hate. That was its...
Yeah, Atlanta is the hub of black culture.
Yeah. In the cemetery itself, with so many war casualties, it's actually no surprise that many of the legends have now sprung up around Oakland Cemetery have been about the soldiers. Some have said that they've seen a Union soldier hanging from a tree, heard names called out in roll call, and even seen prominent Atlanta businessman Jasper Newton Smith rising from a statue to roam the cemetery at night.
That's fucking dope. You think Jasper like Dat Man stuff?
Yeah. And who? What?
Dat Me. Give me a knuckle ball, a little dab.
Oh, I gotcha.
Or
a dab. The Fortnite kids and they're dabbing.
He fucking I dab. He comes out of the statue and I dab, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
And here's the thing. I kind of wanted to keep everything. I would have really liked to cover some Savannah places, but it's a long drive, so it wouldn't be something we could do in a day. If
that'd
we
have to be a
wanted
week. That'd have to be a weekend.
It would have to be like a weekend. And so Bonaventure Cemetery is kind of the same. It's in the kind of the same situation as Oakland Cemetery.
I'll pull these pictures up for you, but I keep interrupting. I'm sorry, I'm being such a fucking prick.
No, it's fine. We're talking about spooky places.
Years and years ago, there comes my New York accent. But we Fayette County kids, 8th grade year, you get to
go to Savannah.
Went to the cemetery. You know, you catch orbs. I don't believe in orbs. I think orbs is just fucking dugs. Unless it's like significantly unless it's like solid. Like the opaque ones, it's a fucking bug dust in the lens, whatever.
Right.
So I took a picture. I'm taking pictures, as a kid does. And I don't remember. I think it was the digital camera. Yeah, because it was a hot minute ago. And I didn't have I did have a cell phone. I had a Razor, but I didn't.
Yeah. Back then they didn't count.
And I'm gonna find this picture because it's on my dad's computer because he fucking saves everything. There was something weird came up. I took a picture of a gravestone, it was for from distance from where I am to you.
Yeah.
and I didn't notice it at first. Well, I did notice it, but I thought it was something else.
Yeah.
And I looked at it later on, and let's say viewers can't fucking see this, but I'm just giving y'all the example. Gravestone, like here down, it's like something blue rushed by.
Oh.
It's blurry, but the thing is, I'm close enough to the gravestone to where
You would have seen something.
sort of seen something, and at the height of what it would have had to been almost at a little bit shorter than me, and no one snuck by, you know. But yeah, I was like, and it was funny because back then I did believe in orbs, and we took a picture of like some house that's supposedly haunted, and like the lights in the house are on, and it's like one of those big, like, you know, open window shits. Window things. I don't know what the fucking term is. I'm not an architect, but I call it like an orb, but it's the same color as the light. So I'm like, but I didn't compute. I was like, oh, I caught an orb, not realizing that the other picture that I took was way more significant.
Yeah.
Until like years later, because I'm like, wait, huh? Oh fuck, that's I'm gonna try to find that picture though. I'm gonna have my dad look it up.
We
Yeah, that's
actually
cool.
one weekend, Angie had never been to Savannah, and
Sure.
you know, most of my family's from Savannah,
Yeah.
so I grew up in there the majority of my childhood. So I took Angie there for like a spooky weekend one time, and we went to Bonaventure Cemetery and a couple places. Angie doesn't remember our ghost tour in Bonaventure Cemetery.
What?
She had gotten like, we don't know if
Possessed?
well, not that. It's like she had been fine the day before when we had been doing like some walks and stuff. The
Yeah.
day we go down there, she's like, she starts feeling sick. She's
Yeah.
like she's kind of like out of it. And
Yeah.
by the time we get back to the hotel room, she is like almost completely out of it. We go by through Bonaventure, and she's like, I don't remember anything about this ghost tour. So I 100% believe that, like, especially like Savannah, because it is the city that was built on the dead.
Yeah.
I think that it's just fuming with activity.
Yeah.
So I would love to like do that for a weekend once. But like, I mean, the thing is, like, it feels like there's like not a dime a dozen, but everybody, if you go to Savannah, if you take pictures, you will catch something.
Yeah, and there's a ghost story in every corner.
Yeah, and that's what I enjoy about it. But I mean, that I think I think that's what we talked about. We drove back through the next day, and you were just kind of like, huh, I kind of remember all of this.
Y'all-
Yeah, I was so but I just don't remember anything. We went to like the Chromatic Dragon and stuff after that. I just don't really remember.
Y'all talking about Savannah wants me to get some of that Pirate's House gumbo.
Oh my god, the Pirate's House is my favorite place to
So
eat
good.
there.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah.
All right, so but going back to places in Metro Atlanta because we live so far away. This place is the Kennesaw House in Marietta, Georgia.
Yeah,
and
that was one of the things I saw.
Yeah, so the Kennesaw House was built in 1845, making it one of Marietta's oldest buildings, and it was intended to be a cotton warehouse, but it was later turned into the Fletcher House Hotel in 1855 after it was purchased by Dix Fletcher. That's hilarious.
Dicks.
The Fletcher, as it was called, was where the great locomotive chase began. And while some may claim it started in Big Shanty, which is now Kennesaw, it began at the Fletcher House. James Andrews, a civilian working with the Union Army, made his way down to Marietta along with disguised Union soldiers in 1862. And on the night of April 11th, Andrews and some of the men spent the night at the Fletcher House. And a historic reproduction of what the room may have looked like has been recreated at the Marietta Museum of History in the room where the men supposedly slept. The men, along with their leader, James Andrews, boarded the train on April 12th and the rest of its passengers. And the Kennesaw House was the only buildings in Marietta not to burn to the ground during William Tecumseh Sherman's Atlanta campaign, partly because Fletcher was a Mason and his son-in-law was a Union spy.
Okay, so so Fletcher was a Confederate.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
But he was a Mason, so, you know, the Freemasons they all know each other.
Well, I was like, oh, this makes a really cool movie, but I don't want the main character to be a Confederate soldier. Fuck that shit.
Yeah. The building, like many others on the Marietta Square, were converted to a war hospital for the Confederate Army, and many wounded soldiers were transported to Marietta after the Battle of Antietam. Is it Antietam?
Antietam.
Antietam. I always forget how to pronounce that. Which was the bloodiest battle in Georgia. And here's what makes the thing about the spooky part about the Kennesaw House. And it's been called the House of 1,000 Ghosts by
Jesus
various
Christ.
television shows that claim that the building is haunted. Stories of the building being haunted extend back to the 1980s. Most of the paranormal claims relate to the hospital era and number of deaths that occurred, which the most spectacular event being during a live broadcast in the early 1980s after the building had been renovated. During the broadcast, an apparition allegedly moved behind a reporter from wall into the hallway and into another wall. And so far, there have been it's hard to find this video,
Yeah.
basically. Apparitions have been allegedly seen throughout the building. There are claims that an investigation team in the early 1980s using a security camera on the second floor caught clear images of the figure of a boy standing in front of the elevator.
Peeing.
And a permanent security system in the same area has never captured a similar event in the 30 years since. However, a number of visitors have also claimed to see a woman, possibly Mrs. Fletcher, in the early 1800s dressed with pink trim. So this is actually a museum you can visit like during the day if you wanted to go. But apparently from the reports that I read, and there was a lot of them, people, whenever they're even on a tour, say that they see spirits, they hear noises. It sounds like people are being treated in the hospital, which is very, it's not normal to hear those noises in a building that's not surrounded by anything that would have a hospital in it. So I thought this was interesting because A, it is a museum that's still open right now for COVID. And B, it is called the House of a Thousand Spirits.
Oh, man, that sounds good.
Like a House of a Thousand Corpses.
Yeah.
So this also is located in sort of the Marietta, Kennesaw area, but it's Kennesaw Mountain Battlefield. Given it's the site of the Civil War battles from June 19th, 1864 until June 2nd, 1864, it's not surprising that this National Battlefield Park is home to its shares of paranormal activity. The Battle of Kennesaw Mountain was described by Sherman as the hardest battle he had fought in the campaign by that time, with over 3,000 Union soldiers losing their lives, with the Confederacy losing around 1,000. And here's the thing. A lot of the reason, a lot of these stories have involved Confederate soldiers and all that because we have such a sordid history with what happened in the Civil War, with us being the Sherman's march through Georgia and through Atlanta.
I believe you mean the war of Northern aggression.
Oh, my God. That is such a lame thing to call it. North was so aggressive.
So good. The North was playing mono red and the South was playing blue white control.
Exactly. The battle itself was a big deal because while it wasn't the first time that Sherman had launched a frontal attack on the Confederacy, it would also be the last time he would do it due to the tactical success of it for the Confederacy. However, it was only a small victory for the Confederacy, but the reason why it was so important was that they were trying to deter Sherman from eventually making it to Atlanta.
Which he did.
He ended up making it to Atlanta.
Yeah.
Stories have it that residents within the area see Civil War soldiers making their way through their yards, along with the sounds of gunshots and cannons being fired that can be heard throughout the park itself. Throughout the park, there are also reports of soldiers with missing limbs being seen and mumbling about the war itself, which I kind of understand. They're like, oh, fuck this shit.
Yeah.
I'm over the war. There have also been reports of groups seeing that what appears to be Civil War era reenactments, only to find that there's no actual reenactments occurring on the field.
That's wild. That's fucking cool.
And then along with the smell of blood and death permeating the air. Now, somebody described it, and I don't know if this is accurate, but they described it as kind of a mini Gettysburg.
Okay.
So the similar things you see with Gettysburg's hauntings, you also see at Kennesaw Mountain.
Gettysburg is wild.
Yeah.
I'm telling y'all, that is. I would love to go there with you.
Yeah.
It's.
I might be going with Blaze and Laura to outside. It's like Rock something. It's like a couple. It's like an
Rock
hour outside
City.
of Boston.
Yeah.
But it's also only 20 minutes away from Salem.
So lucky.
Yeah.
I just thought that was kind of, when somebody was describing it, they said it was like you could feel it in the air. Somebody who had visited Gettysburg, and they were like, it felt almost similar to Gettysburg, and it's not really the bloodiest place in Georgia that a battle occurred at, but it does have a lot of, I guess, a lot of stress and tension involved with it, because I think this battle was one of the last battles that would have deterred Sherman from making it to Atlanta, and he ended up doing it.
So there was one you didn't mention, and it is very, 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 very close.
Where is that?
It's the how do you pronounce it? It's the Holiday Dorsey Fife Museum in Fayetteville.
Yeah, I did think about that one.
Place haunted as fuck.
Is it really?
My mom's best friend used to work there, and there's so much crazy shit that goes on there at fucking night.
Well, initially I was actually going to mention Doc Holliday's grave in Griffin, which is also purportedly haunted.
Oh, and the psychic lady's grave down in Meriwether County.
Yeah, but
what's her name?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Addie.
I don't know.
We're going to call her Addie Wilcox. That's what we're calling
This
her.
place is
Yeah, but I thought about the Dorsey Fife Museum too, because I've heard that purportedly it is very haunted. But then I've also heard that a lot of the stories aren't actually legitimate stories. I don't know.
Well, she worked there, and when she didn't it was like she was doing it for fame. She was telling, "Oh yeah, this place is fucked." Because there's dummies and shit there.
Yeah.
She always closed, and it causes at like 10, but you know, you clean up and all that shit. So she got to like 11 midnight some nights. And there was one night she was cleaning up, and I would have shit my pants if this happened to me. She heard something move, and she was like, "Oh, you know, he has a bunch of shit." So this is before she believed, and she's looking in as the dummies and shit.
No,
And
no, we can't go there.
turned towards her, and she was like, "Nope,
Oh,
out." And she's
shit.
like heard walking when she's the only one in the building. And it's not like creaking; it's like
Yeah, walking. Yeah.
boom, actual like
Yeah.
footsteps. Not like just some creaking, but like it's actual like boom, boom, boom.
It
boom,
is
boom.
like you don't expect it to be where it is, but like that it's in the historical part of Fayetteville.
Yeah.
And so if there's some spooky shit happening, it's going to be happening in that part of Fayetteville.
Yep.
So I would be down to visit it. I mean, it's literally like right where I am most of the days anyway. So it's easily visitable for
I
me.
have a fear of dummies and dolls, though. I don't know. I can do
So you can't handle. Did you ever watch Doctor Who?
No.
You ever watch Doctor Who? Doctor Who's gas.
Yeah.
But in the
I watched that one season with what's her face, and then when she was like just disappeared at the end and left, I was like, no, I'm good.
fair.
It was a little.
So you don't want to do the doll trail?
Fuck that shit. I hate that. Where's that's in Georgia?
Yeah.
I mean, we can just not.
It's
not,
on Atlas Obscura. I was trying to find spooky places. The doll trail didn't make me. Doesn't have a spooky like thing to it. It's supposed to be artsy, but
it's just spooky in itself.
yeah, but it's spooky by the fact that it's like rotting dolls on a trail.
Well, and there's a lot of report of the goat man around that trail.
You know,
He likes to like stand there and call like people's names and stuff.
Fuck that. I mean, we can go, just not during night.
Can you imagine you see me in front of you and I'm talking to Bobby and then you hear my voice behind you go, Becky. No.
Oh, did you ever look at the evidence?
I'm still working on it. It's a lot, and part of mine is just me hiking back to the car.
Oh,
So I got to finish doing it. I just haven't had time.
you can always send me some and I'll listen to audio stuff at least. I can
Okay.
listen to it.
I've listened to the audio stuff.
Nothing.
I mean, we hear the whistling plain as
Oh,
day.
cool.
Yeah, that whistling is spot on.
Legit. We're talking about Corpsewood Manor.
Sorry.
And you hear, you can hear Becky like talking about flowers
No, wholesome.
a lot.
I was very
She's
happy.
like, look at the pretty flowers.
It was pretty
there's a
out there.
butterfly.
It was pretty out
It
there.
was pretty, and it was hot as shit, and we had bug bites all over us when we left.
True. My ass was pretty bitten up.
But yeah, those are the 5 places I thought we could visit.
We could do all those. I'm
We
down.
could do. I mean, they're all kind of located within the same
Yeah.
area of each other.
Like that fucking when you have the goddamn furlough week, we can do that in August.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be hot as dick out though. Oh my god. August is the worst month out here.
Yeah. Well, and we don't have Dragon Con to look forward to, so we got to
True.
find some entertainment that's socially distanced.
We got Renfest in October.
I don't know if Renfest is gonna make it. We'll see how it
You
goes.
can social distance at Renfest.
That's true. I mean,
It's an open field.
true.
And you can get the big, like, 2-foot tall beer. And that wards off the
No,
COVID.
I want the fucking the ham hocks, or not the ham hocks, the big old ham
Turkey thing?
turkey legs. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The big old chocolate covered strawberries.
I'm not a big chocolate person. Like I like chocolate. Like I like peanut butter chocolate, and I like fucking like chocolate turtle things, little pecans. But chocolate itself, I like.
Yeah.
If it's just chocolate itself, it's either like advent calendar chocolate because that's like German shit and it's good.
Yeah, that's
Or
good
like-
shit.
Yeah, this American chocolate's disgusting.
Or really, really, really dark cacao
Dark
chocolate. Yeah.
Well, that's why I like these strawberries because it's really dark.
Oh,
like
it's that
setting
milk.
chocolate.
Gotcha. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the only one we couldn't do probably unless we took like actual weekend vacation would be Blue Ridge.
Yeah.
Until even church.
Well,
I guess
can't
I don't
we?
know what we're gonna do.
Well, I guess we have a plan.
Okay.
I'll pay for it.
Sounds like a
Let's
plan.
do it.
Okay. Okay.
Gas queen.
Skirt, skirt.
So hey, Becky,
That's
where can
me.
they find us?
You can find us on Facebook at The Free Rotation Podcast. You can find us on Twitter at The Free Rotation. You can find us on YouTube and Twitch at The Free Rotation Podcast as well. Actually, we're Twitch. It's The Free Rotation. But one day I will plan on streaming, like doing the actual evidence, like of what we found at Corpsewood. I just have not had a chance.
It'll be
because-
the shortest stream ever.
Yeah. It's just going to be us looking in the woods.
Well, you know what? There was a guy who reached out to us to want to edit for us. I was thinking about sending him all the footage because we don't want to do it quickly.
Yeah.
Right.
And have him like really look at it and see if he sees anything.
And in the background,
Because we
Yep.
saw like the black thing running and we heard stuff.
We heard a lot of like weird noises.
yeah.
You can also find us at Weeby Geeks. We're affiliates of that podcast network. You can check out all the other great podcasts at WeebyGeeksPC.com. And we are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, which might be being bought out by somebody else.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure who
Fair.
it was if I remember reading the article. But they're being bought out.
Wait, you can read?
I sure can.
I can't.
I
Fuck
just read
that.
all those notes. I'm so proud of myself. And
thought
I
it was-
only fucked it up a couple of times.
It's fine.
And yeah, you can check out all of our backlog and our very, very old posts at TheFreeRotation.com.
Peace.
Okay, bye, guys.
Bye.
Don't get spooked.
And we have the local thing we're going to be doing.